It's a match preview. Sheffield United at Bramall Lane against 18th placed Oxford United. A 7:45 p.m. kickoff on Tuesday night. Let's get into it.
Ole, ole, ole. Ole, ole, ole. Ole, ole, ole.
United drew with Coventry, and of course, right throughout this, I'm probably going to say United quite a lot of times. I am aware you might be an Oxford United fan watching this. I'm not talking about Oxford United, obviously. United drew with Coventry in our last match away. Let's be honest, a fairly ill-tempered affair. 𝗣𝗿𝗲, is that how we say his name? The Belgian, a really sly piece of work. I'm not even happy that his name is close to Bassett, like 𝗍𝗵𝗏, who I love. This guy, I don't love. Not the type of player I'd want playing for United, not Oxford United. Very disappointing, actually, to see the officials miss the elbow on an L, the grab on the neck of an L, the barge into the back of an L, two blatant dives by 𝗣𝗿𝗲, but none of that excuses 𝗦𝗽liche reaction. He has to know better. He needs to not react and be the bigger man against such petulant wind-up merchants. And that's all I've got to say on that, because otherwise I'll get really annoyed. 𝗍𝗵𝗏 was brilliant. A cross set up Campbell on his right foot and a goal on his left. Absolutely superb. It's a bit of a cliche, but I do believe it. The sky is the limit for 𝗍𝗫 and 𝗍𝗵𝗏 in terms of where he wants to take his career, because he's such a live wire, and he'll either end up being a Premier League player for many, many years to come, or this will be his level, and that's really going to be down to him. And neither of those are bad. They're both good things. He's a really good player, really talented individual. 𝗍𝗶𝗴, what a warrior. Harry Souttar, which sort of rhymes with Vinny Souza, looked extremely un-Harry Souttar-like in that match against Coventry City. And I'm putting that down simply to travelling to Australia, travelling to Bahrain, or Bahrain, as you're meant to say it, and then back. It's just a lot. You know, I've done that sort of traveling. I mean, literally those two places. And I was out for 3 days, you know, and actually I fall asleep just after I've woken up. A lot of the time, don't sleep very well. Maybe Harry sleeps better. Probably. He's an athlete. Oxford, meanwhile, were hammered 6-2 at home against Middlesbrough. So the question I have for you, and if you can let me know in the comments, get your score predictions in. How will both sides react? Sheffield United now possibly hit by many injuries. We know this. And an ill-tempered match. How do you react to that? Oxford hammered at home by a team that's good but not great. Now, before we get team news, let me thank our video sponsors, Panenka Bar and Grill. They are our official pre- and post-match bar for all live matches. They're on there. They've got private boxes to enjoy the sport too. It really is a great place to meet friends, ideally positioned close to beautiful downtown Bramall Lane. You will find Panenka at the entrance to New Era Square. Tell them Sheff United Way sent you. Right, let's talk Blades team news and get a predicted lineup for this one. We know about the sad news with Oliver Arblaster likely out for the season. A huge blow following knee surgery, and we wish him well. I don't know how to think about the fact that he carried on playing. He's a Sheffield United fan. Obviously, he's not going to want to come off against Sheffield Wednesday. It shows the strength and the resolve and the grit, another warrior of the man. You know, Wednesday fans said he bottled it. I mean, he certainly didn't. He really tried to play through what must have been a tremendous pain barrier. And then the other way of looking at that is, you know, he probably should have listened to the medical staff, which you'd have imagined would have said, yeah, maybe you should rest this one out. Let's see how you are. Because you don't know if he did more damage. I don't know. It doesn't matter now. But United now have lost the spine of the team, with Anel suspended following his red card against Coventry City. I think likely a 3-game ban because it's violent conduct. You know, it'll be considered violent conduct, whether we think it was or not, but could be appealed. And I'm recording this before I know if it's been appealed or not, so that I'm assuming he's out for Oxford United. We have 𝗣𝗵𝗴 likely still out, with Brewster hoping to be back, maybe on the bench for this game or Sunderland. But the spine of the team, you know, apart from Cooper, is gone. This is a tough time. This is when we needed an international break. And actually, we don't have an international break. We've got game. We've got that Coventry game we've just had, Oxford and Sunderland. It's thick and it's fast. It's not even Saturday, Tuesday. You know, we've got a game on Friday. Tyrese Campbell looked like he was subbed because of a tight hamstring. That concerns me. 𝗍𝗵𝗏 also, people are saying he was taken off because he was injured. Might be a minor injury, might miss out. Let me know what you expect the lineup to be for this one. I'll assume then that these players are going to be left out, even if they're just rested, because it is such a quick turnaround. So Michael Cooper in goal, Gilchrist, Harry Souttar, Jack Robinson, Burrows. Then I'll go Andre Brooks, Peck, Vinny Souza if he's okay after cramp, Callum O'Hare, Gus Harmer, and I've really got to say Ryan Oweh, haven't I? I don't think Wilder will want to start Ryan Oweh in this one. Not because he's not good enough, just because he's so young and inexperienced. But how do you get experience? Disagree or like what you see? Let me know in the thoughts. To run the rule over Oxford United and their season so far, here's Jack Ward.
Hi guys, it's Jack here from the Jack Ward Football Podcast. It's a pleasure to be on the channel. Thank you so much for having me. You've asked me to give my thoughts on our heavy defeat to Middlesbrough yesterday ahead of the game against Sheffield United on Tuesday. Yes, it was pretty dismal. And a very clear indication as to how good Middlesbrough are and the fantastic run of form they're currently on. But also, I think the general quality of this division, and when you're not on it and you've just been promoted into the Championship, you can have some good times, you can run on the good moments, but when you're not at the races and when you let those standards slip for just moments in games, not just for a full 90 minutes, just split-second moments, teams can punish you and teams can hurt you. And Middlesbrough did that. They were so clinical and they made Oxford pay. And mistakes get punished more than ever at this level. In terms of injuries, it was actually ironic in the game where a few players came back. One, importantly, Cameron Brannigan, which was really, really important for Oxford United. It gave us that opportunity to bring back our best midfielder. Although the result doesn't suggest that it made much of a difference, it will do. He's a very, very good player, and it will be better. In terms of the game on Tuesday, it's going to be really, really, really difficult. It's going to be really, really challenging. We know that we're not in the greatest of shapes when it comes to form. We know Sheffield United off the back of a 2-2 draw against Coventry, but a fantastic derby win before that and a good strong run until this point. It's going to be a very, very difficult test, and away from home as well on a Tuesday night, it doesn't make for great reading on the eye from an Oxford point of view. In terms of score prediction, my heart says we can get something. My head says I think it's going to be quite difficult. I'm going to go with a 2-0 Sheffield United win in this one. We just want to go back to the identity and to give it a good game. That's what we want to do. We want to be competitive. I think for a lot of this season, we have been competitive. I think for the first time on Saturday, we weren't. And we looked second best in every department for the majority of the game. And against Tuesday, we're hoping we can go back and revert to our old ways of looking like we're in games and in large amounts of games too. So that's my thoughts. Hope that's okay. And I'll see you very soon.
The referee for Sheffield United versus Oxford is 𝗍𝗿𝗍. Can't remember what I said last time because he has already done us this season. He's from Lancashire. Darren Bond, our last referee, was from Lancashire as well. What's going on? There is a divide. I'm going with 𝗍𝗍𝗍. Anyway, 𝗍𝗍𝗍 began refereeing in 2007, was handed the playoff semi-final between Salford City and Eastleigh in the National League in 2018-19, and he's actually from Freckleton, and he arrived in the EFL at just the 2019 season, so he's relatively new. His first game in the EFL, a championship match, was in September of 2020 when he took charge of Rotherham United's 1-0 defeat at home to Millwall. 𝗍𝗍𝗍 is also one of very few professional referees that has had a Twitter account at Lee Doubts. And I don't want him to doubt himself. I want him to be certain and assured. That's what I like in a referee. It is a private Twitter account, if you can find it, or if it still even exists. So far, this season, he's reffed 11 matches, issuing 47 yellow cards. That's quite high, but he hasn't given any reds. So it'll be interesting to see what he actually does for this season, because this season he's already reffed us in our 1-0 win against Swansea City at the Lane back in October. What did you think when he refereed that game? I think we should have won that game by more goals, but that wasn't down to him. He wasn't playing up front. We could do with him playing up front against Oxford. In his career, he's refereed United 6 times, and the Blades have won 4, drawn 1, and only lost 1. For Oxford, he's refereed them only 3 times, and they've won once, drawn once, and lost once, obviously. And if you're wondering, he has only given 1 penalty this season. We now come to our player connections, brought to you by 𝗵𝗏𝗶𝗹𝗹. 𝗵𝗏𝗶𝗹𝗹 is a virtual band. Many of their members are Sheffield United supporters, so support them. Check out 𝗵𝗏𝗶𝗹𝗹.com. Their album, Tall Tales of 10 Girls, really is worth a listen. You can get it on Spotify. Now, we always pick 4 players for Played For Both, and my 4 for this one, Dean Saunders. Tung-o. Played 59 times for Oxford with 22 goals. Good return when he was a youngster. He was slightly older when he came to Sheffield United. 43 matches for the Blades with 17 goals for the Welshman, who loved sticking his tongue out. Tommy Mooney, 42 appearances and 15 goals for the front man between 2004 and 5 for Oxford. He was on loan prior to that at United and played just 3 league games, but he's probably best remembered for a great goal-scoring opportunity in the League Cup at Anfield when Kirkland should have been sent off, where he inexplicably came on as a sub and took the free kick and didn't do anything with it. And that was a season where we had some players that could take free kicks. So I was surprised at that. Didn't really like him after that. I've mentioned him because he's more of an Oxford legend. And you know what? These previews are for both. Jake Wright, United never lost a game when he used the dressing room toilet for a big number 2 or something like that. It was a stat, something like that. 281 appearances for Oxford. So a real Oxford stalwart, a real Oxford legend. 52 appearances for the Blades. I really liked Jake Wright. That is the defender. Bobby Ford. We all dream of a team of Bobby Fords. 116 games for Oxford, where he was very popular. 154 appearances for the Blades. Feels like more, where he was less popular. He's now 50 and has completely disappeared off grid. So I feel like I can say I didn't really think he was very good. And finally, we come to our score predictions. And if you'd like your score prediction shared here and to receive a whole host of other benefits as well as support us, head to patreon.com/SheffUnitedWay. It really helps us to continue to do what on earth it is that we actually do. Patreons, what do they know? Do they know things? Let's find out. Paul has gone with 3-0 Blades. Ray and Nick both say 2-0 Blades. Jono agrees with that. Ant sees it differently. 2-1 to Sheffield United. Ollie thinks it'll be 2-1 as well. Steve thinks that we win 3-1. Ewan goes one better and predicts 3-0. So does James. Statsman Adam thinks it'll be a dull 0-0 due to a lack of firepower for Sheffield United. What do you think, Blades fans? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching, or if you're listening to this as a match preview, wherever you get your podcasts, up the Blades.